all right. We're back again. Actually, on our regular day. About time. Last week was kind of anomaly of sorts, as had this second COVID shot, and it knocked me off my ass. And I kind of explained that. I know a lot of people weren't there. I had moved episode 25 to Friday, and I don't know. There was this thing called the NFL Draft night number two that I had to contend with. So hopefully I don't have to deal with too much because apparently on TNT happening now is a pay-per-view that's going to be broadcast for free called Blood and Guts. So that'll be AEW with the main event being the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle in a War Games type match, a enclosed cage covering two rings. So it looks to be bloody. There's going to be probably some gutsy performances. Somebody probably will get injured in this match, as most AEW wrestlers have been getting injured randomly. But hopefully it makes sense, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. But at the same time, make sure you guys simultaneously are watching or listening into this podcast as we speak. So I'm going to send out this link real quick so people will get the link to the YouTube option, because I already sent the Twitch option, because I do multi-stream from both Twitch and YouTube, and you guys will get the links eventually. So let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll get started in a little bit. So let's get going. Welcome back to episode 26 of What the Fuck Just Happened. Your host, DJ81, aka EVO325 on Twitch. We're back on our regular day. As you see, a little daylight behind me. It's getting lighter and lighter and getting more daylight as we get through spring and we head towards summer. So hopefully everyone can hear me. I was testing the audio out. No one said anything. So I would assume that we are good to go. Also, let me know if the video, because of course the people that are just listening only are going to be caring about the video. But for those that are watching live, if the video is doing something funky or whatever, just let me know. Just, say something in the chat. It'd be greatly appreciated. Also, for those listening on SoundCloud with the ability to leave comments, if there's any glitches, anything that pops up, feel free to leave a comment below, and not below, below in SoundCloud. SoundCloud, you can leave comments. YouTube, you can actually leave comments. So, and here we go. Kabliminary. Hey, what's up? So Kabliminary is him and his brother are getting their first shots. I think we said Friday, or is it next week? You said, or was it this Friday? But either way, they'll be getting their first shots. And my advice to them was pretty much good luck, drink plenty of water. But the other one, the other piece of advice I was going to say, but it's dependent upon what happens. If you get the side effects, move your arms. Okay, so it is this Friday. All right, so Kabliminary is saying that it's this Friday. So I was thinking the 15th for some reason, but then I was also thinking April 15th, and that would throw me in a whole different compartment of all sorts of L's I would have experienced off of that. So, but if you do experience the side effects, make sure you get plenty of rest. Be mindful. It's kind of tough to say because I don't recommend taking medication for most stuff, But if you have to, if the pain is that great, you may have to. That's my second shot experience. I had to resort to a leave. And that second shot side effects feeling was no joke. Like I said, I had to, reschedule this podcast to Friday because of it. I barely even made the draft special, but here's the thing that happened. What was it? Complementary Sports says pain. Yes. Joint pain, muscle soreness, maybe stiffness, muscle stiffness, headaches, slight dizziness. There's a whole host of side effects that have been produced. A lot of people have experienced them. I'm not trying to scare you, but just be aware that there's more to list to these side effects. It kind of like at one point I felt like I had the flu. So it's kind of like I took the flu shot and experienced all the things of the flu. I even thought I had a fever, but this watch that I have on my left wrist, it keeps my body temperature. And I did not have a fever. My body temperature stayed normal. It's just the reactions of the antibodies and to the immune system within the immune system that's reacting to the shot. So you're going to get heated. That's why it's going to be good to drink a lot of water. It's going to result in joint pain and stuff like that. It's all coming from the interaction between the vaccine and your immune system. So if your immune system is strong, it's probably going to be worse as far as the pain. Somebody was telling me that it seems like the stronger your immune system, the bigger the fight within your body, and you'll feel it. And apparently my immune system is strong because it put up a big fight. It was like, okay, it was basically like, you have the first fight, like the first fight, you're fighting for the first time. You're like, all right, that's enough. All right, that was it. I didn't really experience much pain from that. But second time around, it's like, oh, you again? Oh, we got something for you. We got more backup. And yeah, all hell broke loose within my own body. So I felt like it was hell. And for some reason, I wouldn't really recommend getting the shot for people, but it's you have the extremes on the other side that, you could die from catching the coronavirus, and you'd rather be protected out here or at least be safe. All these states are opening up, and they're really trying to regain the money that they lost. They don't care. These states that are opening up do not care about people's safety. All they're worried about is recouping the money, which is a legit thing. You got small businesses that have lost money because states have shut down, and they haven't been getting the business like they used to. But again, it's a lot of unknowns, even with these vaccines. But let me crack open a cold one. Not the cold one that you think. For those that are viewing, you see what you see. But for those that are just listening, it's time for the Zoe. So hopefully you guys are being safe tonight. Again, you're probably at home eating dinner, stuff like that. But yeah, let's get to it. So why are we here? Again, is the question I always ask. Why are we here? So we are here because we have a couple of things to talk about. Just a couple of things tonight. Very quick, because I definitely want to go. I want to get to watching this pay-per-view. I think it'll be interesting to watch this Blood and Guts pay-per-view on TNT, which is on now. You can probably have it on the TV. I'm actually watching the Rangers, the Capitals, and the Karengers. And we'll talk about that later. They're playing again. I think the score's still 0-0, but there have been several fights in this game so far. And that's going to be – and the fights are resulting from what I'm going to talk about later. But preliminary sports says I heard a girl turned into a zombie from COVID shot. Yeah, it was a Resident Evil type situation. I felt like I had turned into a zombie when I got the second shot. It just, you don't feel right. Like I put this out there. Because my aunt helped me with scheduling and getting the appointment for the shot. But ever since that first shot, I just have not felt right, like physically and mentally. I've just not been myself. It just puts you in a state where you're fatigued, just lethargic, in pain. And this isn't all cases. This is case by case. But in my experience, I can only tell you my experience. My experience was like, it's not there. That was not. I'm like, the DJ that you see and hear right now was not. Well, actually, I did a good job of masking a lot of stuff. But off the camera, stuff like that, the DJ that you guys hear and see disappeared. Because I do believe in what you see is what you get, what you hear is what you listen to. And I'm like this all the way around. I am more reserved when I'm off camera, but it's because I'm off camera. I don't need to, be up for you guys. But, when I'm off camera, I'm kind of a little bit more reserved, just chilled, but it's still a part of me. So you guys get an extension of me that is very close to who I am. So I didn't feel that way all the way. So when I went off of camera after taking these shots, it was just like, oh, God. Like, I think there was one episode on First and Frame Rates. I felt like I was going to die recently. So I don't know I forgot which one it was. But, I made it through that one. But I quickly had to go after we went off the air. So... But let me take care of some admin real quick. So those that are watching on YouTube, if you want to find me on Twitch, you can find me here. And those that are on Twitch that want to find me elsewhere, I'm on YouTube. You can find me here. And for those that were listening, you can find me at DJ81 or Derek Jordan, Twitch, EVO325. You can find me on Twitter, DJ81. I have a blog site in which I'm in the middle of cooking up the Mortal Kombat review. I already did the episode for episode 25 for the video and audio version of the review. Obviously, it's not line for line, but I'll have an article typed up hopefully by this Friday. So you can find that at the site, www.dj81.org. And I'm also a panelist on the show First in Frame Rates. Is myself, VF, and Bills Forth. We go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk about sports and sports video gaming. And unfortunately, we missed an episode, or actually we had to move that episode from Tuesday to Thursday. So tomorrow will be what we were supposed to do on Tuesday. We definitely have a lot to talk about. So hopefully everybody's ready. A lot of shit happened. So again, and this is on VF's channel. So make sure you go to his channel, subscribe. Make sure you go to my channel, subscribe. If you follow me on Twitch, tell people to follow me on Twitch. Nothing big about that. And then if you want to, you can send donations to PayPal and Zelle. My email address is evo325@gmail.com. All right, now we got that shit out the way, and that will continue to scroll for those that are tuning in live, just in case you come in late. But yeah, so let's start with yesterday was May the 4th, and we had a show debut, a long-awaited show debuting called The Bad Batch. Star Wars. I'm about to trip over that. A Star Wars animated show called The Bad Batch, featuring a group of clones thought to be technically a bad batch, or it just, not really disfigured. I'm skipping the term right now, but a malform of clones. Like, you have your regular clones that did okay, they followed orders, but you had those that were just different and not as good, apparently not 100%. So these were and you ran into these clones in, I think, a couple of episodes in the regular Clone Wars. But this series is taking place just as the Clone Wars ends and carries on a little bit after that, in which, honestly, in the Star Wars time period, I believe the Clone Wars is the most, I think, the most loved time period to view Star Wars. There's actually a lot of content out on the Clone Wars period and post Clone Wars, like right after it. Like, you're talking about, we just came off of the final season of the Clone Wars. I guess it was season 8. And then we had Rebels. And then we had the movies, Rogue One, Han Solo. There was another one I can't remember at the moment. Oh, and then also we had some post Return of the Jedi stuff, the Mandalorian being the main one. But the Bad Batch definitely starts you off right away with Order 66, which, oh good, the Caps are up 1-0. Fuck them Rangers. But anyway, I'm gonna be saying that a lot because I hate that team. That team could fall off the face of the earth. I wouldn't care, bitches. But so yeah, so we get it. Oh yeah, spoilers just in case you haven't seen it. It's on Disney Plus right now. But yeah, right off the bat, PTSD from Order 66. And we actually run into a character that we all seen from Rebels. Not going to tell you. Like I said, partial spoilers, not whole spoilers, but we'll run into a Jedi from Rebels. But yeah, it pretty much, you wind up by the end of this episode set up for a confrontation, which involves one of the Bad Batch members actually becoming. It looks like they're setting this guy up to be the main antagonist. I ain't gonna tell you which one, but I could kind of see, in watching the Bad Batch episodes in Clone Wars, the ones that they appeared in, I could kind of tell which one was going to be the one that they're setting up for this series to be the main antagonist. And it was kind of rumored in articles, so people could see this coming. But what's interesting is they picked up one. They lost one plus one. So the plus one is going to be interesting. And by the end of this episode, it actually sets it up that the leader of the Bad Batch actually knows a guy on a planet in the J-19 system. So it leads me to wonder, who are we talking about? And it'll be nice. Now, I wonder if these episodes are going to be releasing every Wednesday, because they came out May the 4th, which was yesterday, or Wednesday. Yeah, Tuesday was May the 4th, because today's Wednesday. And yeah, if y'all want to give me L's in the chat for that, go right ahead. I deserve that one. But May the 4th was a Tuesday, so I wonder if they're going to release episodes every Tuesday for the Bad Batch. I heard there's another show. I don't know if it's a Disney Plus show or whatnot, Amazon Prime or whatever, that's going to release episodes every Wednesday. So if the Bad Batch is releasing every Tuesday, that's actually good, because instead of waiting a whole week for an episode to come out, I coming off the weekend, it's nice to get something that I'm interested in watching by Tuesday 3 a.m. I always stay up whenever these episodes come out. Always stay up until like 3 a.m. because that's when they typically release. And I don't know. I've always like I did an episode prior where I talked about Star Wars, and I'm like one of the biggest Star Wars fans. Not known on the internet or anything. I'm 41 years old. Was it episode 4? Was it? Yeah, episode 4 was made just before I was born. I think episode 2 was made maybe not episode 2. Episode 5, which was Empire Strikes Back. So you're talking about A New Hope was 1977, and I think Empire was 80 or 81, and then obviously Return of the Jedi was like 83. They kind of like had like a every 2, 3, maybe 4 year cycle. Excuse me, between each one. So I'm the fan from back then, watching everything happen until now. So I'm actually very grateful that we have all this Star Wars content to watch, and it covers all the gaps that I previously had. Because remember, by the time Return of the Jedi comes out, there's nothing left. Like, you have the novels, but I didn't really get into the novels. It was just one of those things where, all right, that's the end of the movie, but what happens to Luke? What happens to Leia? What happens to Han? What happens to Chewie? What happens to R2-D2, C-3PO, the Ewoks? Apparently, nobody gave a fuck about the Ewoks, and we haven't had an Ewok character pop up in any post-Star Wars anything. Even in the prequels, no Ewoks. Nah, nobody gives a fuck about the Ewoks anyway. So, it's just nice to have all this Star Wars content to watch, and the Bad Batch just adds to it. So you had the Mandalorian, which I think they're slating that they will begin filming by the fall, and then you have Boba Fett's one-off series that's at the end of this year that will come out. You have Obi-Wan. You have roll credits for Obi-Wan Watson and his podcast, The High Ground, which I must say, last episode didn't exactly do that, but we'll talk about that later. So, jokingly didn't take the high ground. I am not saying it was anything malicious. I just thought it was funny. So, and also just advice, y'all may want to put E for explicit for your Spotify episodes, because Obi-Wan, you do curse, and I'm sure you would like that freedom. But remember, with that cartoonish logo and the high ground in Star Wars, kids are probably going to accidentally tune in, and without seeing that E, that's going to set your ass up. So hopefully you're listening and paying attention. Make sure you put that E on there. Not for everyone, for explicit. So, all right, so Subliminary Sports says the Ewoks were awesome. They annoyed the fuck out of them stormtroopers, though. And it's funny, they were more accurate than them stormtroopers. Did y'all notice that? Did y'all notice that they, with their primitive weapons, were more accurate than the stormtroopers? Like, they were slinging rocks from distances away, hitting stormtroopers. Stormtroopers got these precise blasters, and they're shooting into the sky. They're shooting to the left, right, down to the ground. I'm like, it's amazing that Ewoks at like 3 foot whatever or 4'2" have better aim than a trained stormtrooper. But you know what? You know whose fault that was? And that actually was joked in the Bad Batch first episode of why it kind of clued me into obvious reasons why the stormtroopers were very inaccurate, because they weren't clones. That's a big obvious thing. And the main thing, and also the situation that this sets up, it sets up the whole, okay, why is the Empire getting rid of the clones? So it brings up that situation. So we're hoping that there are possible other Jedis that show up in this one, but who knows at this point? Right now, Order 66 has them as enemies of the state. The New Republic is now the Galactic Empire, and Darth Vader is lurking. I wouldn't be shocked if you caught a cameo of Darth Vader. Wouldn't be surprised. He showed up on Rebels. Obviously, he had the cameo at the end for season 8 of the Clone Wars. Wouldn't be shocked if he showed up. So, oh, look at this. Capitals on the power play again. It looks like it was a double. Okay, let's get into it, because obviously these Rangers being a bunch of bitches right now. We're gonna get into it right now. So, anybody got it before we move on, because the Rangers getting on my fucking nerves now. Anybody got any comments about the Bad Batch? Are you looking forward to more Bad Batch episodes if you have seen the first episode? If you haven't seen the first episode, are you looking forward to watching it when you get time? Because I know some people got families, some people just are busy at certain times, and the only quiet time they have, they're probably asleep. So, oh yeah, one more thing. Shout out to Jeremy and Thad at the Sports Reality Podcast. I know they had a special bonus episode earlier today, like just before I went live, but they had their regular episode earlier in the evening. They also touched up on the Tom Wilson situation, which I'm about to get into next. So, yes, for those that are listening, it says Tom Wilson versus the New York Karengers, and I will explain why I am renaming the team that occupies Madison Square Garden in hockey from the New York Rangers to the New York Karengers. So, Washington 2 days ago played the first of 2 meetings, the second meeting, which is taking place right now, against the New York Rangers, in which they won the game 6-3. Towards the middle portion of the second period, there was a scrum in front of the goaltender, in front of the Capitals goaltender. I think it was Vanacek that was in that goalie. Oh, they scored again. Good. 2-0. Fuck you, Karengers. But anyway, so there's a scrum in front of Vanacek, and one of the Rangers forwards is trying to poke at, and he wants to, and I caught this later. He kicked Vanacek in the pad while trying to knock the puck in, but as he was falling, because he was being brought down by Tom Wilson, and as he was falling, he poked one last time at Vanacek, which caused Wilson to punch this man in the shoulder. Didn't punch him in the head. This is after the dude landed. Wilson punched him in the shoulder. Then that's when the fight breaks out, because then you had like four Karengers jump on Wilson's back. Did you know that Wilson fought them all off? He had backup people clean people off his back, but these Karengers, I swear, they really can't fight. Shoot, the second game just proved that. There were like 6 fights. They lost 4 of them. They've been penalized throughout this. Apparently, there was a major penalty that just took place because the Capitals are on the power play once again, up 2-0. So these Karengers tried to fight Wilson at that point. Panarin jumped on this dude's back, and he's trying his best to hold on for dear fight, but it's just like an Ewok jumping on Chewbacca's back. It's not going to work. Wilson is like the strongest player on the ice. He just got finished like dealing with 3 other Karengers. Now all of a sudden, he takes his one Karenger, kind of like reaches behind him and just slams him to the ice. Yeah, Subliminary. I thought it was funny too. This is in the middle of a hockey game. This is what makes hockey exciting. So he takes Panarin. It kind of sounds like Panera bread. It seemed like that's what the Karengers normally eat. Panera bread. They didn't have their Wheaties today. They had their Panera bread. That's why they got slammed like they did by one person. How you allow one person in a line brawl to beat all of you? So Panarin got slammed to the ice, and there's really no cheap shots being thrown here. I know some folks probably listening to this, they're like, that's ridiculous, especially from you guys from New York. Now, I have respect for a lot of New York teams. The Giants, well, actually, they were crying like bitches. They were crying like bitches after the Philly game and also during this draft. But, that's neither here nor there. There's nothing. I wouldn't call you the New York. There's nothing to really say about the Giants nor the Jets. The Knicks are on a hot streak, so good for them. It's actually good for basketball that, basketball is back at MSG flying high. But the hockey team, because the Islanders play elsewhere. The Karengers, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. As right now, the Capitals are up 2-0 on the Karengers. I'm gonna keep reporting that score because you Karengers need to shut the fuck up, because y'all can't fight, y'all can't win, y'all not even going to the playoffs. Y'all got eliminated like some time ago. Only the top 4 teams in the whatever East, whatever they labeled the division for the East, only 4 teams went, and you were the last one out. So you were 5th, and somebody else was 4th. I think it was the Islanders. Oh, that's right, the Islanders. They got in. Shout out to Barry Trotz for having a class team get in before the classless team. So the Karengers, okay, so Panarin got slammed to the ice, and Wilson is just like ragdolling him everywhere. Almost put him in a half Boston Crab because he just mopping him. He was just mopping the ice with Panarin. And so that was that. And Tom Wilson got majority of the penalties. He received game misconduct, several 2-minute minors for roughing. That's all he did was rough up the players. He didn't take no cheap shot. He didn't violently almost kill somebody, as depicted in the New York Post. The New York Post, first of all, I have a bone to pick with the New York Post, because obviously politically they've been spotty at best, inaccurate news, fake news, and then this crying, talking about, oh, he almost killed Panarin. No, he didn't. Panarin jumped on his back. I'm like, if somebody jumps on my back, I'm trying to slam them on the ground too. Get them off me. But apparently the Post doesn't see it that way. They want to cry about it. The New York Post, that Post that reports inaccurate news all the time, especially, and they want to be dramatic. And then get this. Hold up. Let me pull it up. I had to find it, because this is beyond ridiculous. This is why I call the New York Rangers the Karengers. Let me see if I can find that announcement that make. I can find it. That it's somewhere. Hopefully somebody in the chat, if you can find it before I do, send me the link, because I want to read that out loud for everyone to hear, because I think it is very important that there it is. Let's see. Nope, that's not it. Damn. I gotta go New York Rangers and Tom Wilson, because Wilson only received a $5,000 fine for the incident. There it is. I found it. All right, so we're gonna read this statement from the New York Karengers, and I'm not gonna put it up on the stream for people to view it. You guys probably have seen it, but I'm gonna just read it. It says here, The New York Rangers are extremely disappointed that Capitals forward Tom Wilson was not suspended for his horrifying act of violence last night at Madison Square Garden. Wilson is a repeat offender with a long history of these type of acts, and we find it shocking that the NHL and their Department of Player Safety failed to take appropriate action and suspend him indefinitely. Sniffle. Wilson's dangerous and reckless actions caused injury to Artemi Panarin that will prevent him from playing again this season. The bitches got like 3 games left. The fuck they crying for? We view this as a dereliction of duty by the NHL head of player safety, George Peros, and believe he is unfit to continue in his current role. Whoa! That was probably the longest voice acting I've ever done in my entire life. Hopefully that pulled off nicely. But anyway, that was the statement from the New York Rangers in the exact tone they put it in. And you know what? 2 people, the Rangers, the Karengers, my fault. They're no longer the Rangers. They're the Karengers. Their president, their GM was fired today, and somebody else was fired today. And you know what? Tom Wilson was doing God's work. Because right now, we are at the start of this game that started tonight, earlier around like 7:15, 6 fights broke out. Guess who won most of them? The Caps. So not only, okay, so far, let's go over this again. The Karengers not only lost the hockey game 2 days ago, 6-3. Not only did they lose the fight trying to jump one of our players after what was perceived to be a cheap shot, when really he was defending his goaltender who got kicked and was poked by a stick on his way down. And I checked the replay and I checked all the angles. I saw a kick. That was okay. The kick was fine because that was during the play. But as the player was falling, he reached in again to try to poke the puck into the net, but it was covered up by Vanacek, in which you don't touch another team's goaltender. That's a no-no. So Wilson was responding and defending his goaltender and punched dude in the shoulder. He didn't punch him in the head. And then this bitch, Panarin or whoever, jumps on his man's back. And Panarin gets dealt with. And again, they proceeded to lose the hockey game, the Karengers, 6-3. So tonight, all of a sudden they want to fight people because they didn't get their way. That announcement that I read earlier in the exact tone that they put it in. Then they tried, let's fight, put them up. They tried that, and that didn't work. They lost 4 out of those 6 fights because we all know Lars cannot fight because I saw him throwing punches. I've never seen a man. I question a man who throws a punch with a limp wrist. Just saying, Lars, stiffen the wrist and throw with authority. Don't be like, don't do this. That doesn't hurt. Before this, then they also went to fight Wilson, and Wilson won by decision. No one got knocked down in that fight, but Wilson was landing a lot of heavy shots. And they lost some fights. They're down 2-0 currently in this game. I don't know what the result of this game is going to be, and the Rangers are resorting to cheap shots, like Sidney Crosby type cheap shots now. They're resorting to slashing. That's classy. Remember, all those fights were started by the Karengers. We don't start fights. We finish them. So as of right now, as I keep looking back, it's 2-0, and it looks like they're about to take the face off in the Rangers' defensive zone, Caps' offensive zone. Or maybe I'm incorrect on that. But this is not a good look for the Karengers at all. How can you live with yourself up 3-0 Capitals? So Capitals just scored again. We're up 3-0. Second period. So how does it feel as a Karengers fan knowing that you wake up every morning knowing that your team is a bunch of punk ass bitches that can't fight, can't win, and are not going to be in the playoffs this year? I guess the good news on the other front, Preliminary Sports is reporting that the Wizards are winning. So we're gonna switch away. I'm gonna go ahead and switch away from the Wizards game to the Wizards game. Hopefully that's on. They're up by 10, second quarter. It's kind of early. I'm gonna go back to this Cavs game because it's actually more fun. So thank you for the report. Oh, we got a new person. So anonymous brother says, so are you saying they've lost because of money? That doesn't make any sense. I never brought up money in the whole entire thing. I'm just saying that if we're talking about the Karengers, they lost because they can't fight, they can't win hockey games, they're not playing in the playoffs this year. They tried to fight us tonight after losing the line brawl. They should have known better. They just left it alone. Then somebody tries to fight TJ Oshie. His father just died. How classes are the Karengers? You know, fight somebody after he lost his father. What the hell is this? I swear, sometimes I wonder about that team. That's the only New York team I always have a question about. And then don't get me started on dirty player tactics, because didn't you guys have a player called names I called him? Didn't you have a player called Sean Avery that he was doing Tom Wilson type stuff that y'all claim Tom Wilson does? Well, Tom Wilson does do a lot of physical stuff that sometimes goes over the line. He has been suspended before, but we're not denying that. We've been trying to make sure that he stays within the lines, and most of the time he does. But you know what he did 2 nights ago? That wasn't dirty. He hit him in the shoulder. No harm, no foul. The dude that he hit in the shoulder got right up and tried to hit him and tried to hit Wilson. So the fact that the Karengers were crying about acts of violence, what the fuck did y'all just do tonight? Y'all went out there, started 6 fights, lost 4 of them. You're about to lose this game. You're down 3-0. You lost in the game 2 nights ago, 6-3. Y'all were up 3-2 when that fight happened. And you're missing the playoffs. Okay, so we got a question from Matthew Wilson, and there's some new people showing up. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you. Like anonymous brother, thank you for stopping by, and Matthew Wilson. So Matthew Wilson asked, was the suspension fair? There was no suspension. He was fined $5,000. To be honest, because it's Tom Wilson, I was expecting at least a game to at least avoid him appearing in the next Rangers game. That's what I was expecting, because I think the way the NHL looked at it, the player safety department, the way they looked at it, so the typical scrum, you can go and look up NHL players protecting goaltenders. You can look it up. It happens all the time that you have these scrums break out. Sometimes they go into these type of fights. I'm like, hell, not even a scrum in front of the goaltender. One behind the goaltender's net, Sidney Crosby on PK Subban driving his head into the ground, clear as day. No, I don't think a penalty was called on that play, nor was he fined or suspended. I'm like, the NHL does have an issue with consistency. I do agree with that because we've been victimized on a bunch of cheap shots. It's some shots to Wilson. Mind you, of course, the way they don't conduct the same energy, they like, oh, well, it's Tom Wilson, so, whatever. Okay, so I see that. Okay, another new person, Peter William. Thank you for stopping by. He says, thoughts on Monk's sister dying from a car crash. I know it's random. I never really talked about it, but that must have just happened. So, wait a minute. Monk's sister dying from a car crash. Which Monk are we talking about? Are we talking about Art Monk, Malik Monk? Peter, if you can let me know, just because that'll be the first time I've heard about that. That I'm like, I know a thing about car accidents. I almost died in one, so it's. I still have PTSD, or I can't even say it right half the time. From my accident, mine was in 2009, so I can only imagine any type of suffering she may have gone through when she passed, just before she passed, because it's scary to be in a car accident. All right, so Matthew Wilson, he says, however, I heard the next Ranger game, they will include a new member called Nirger. Whoa, really? All right. I walked into that one, but I already know this is an adult rated show. So, but what are you doing, Matthew? Come on, we can't be doing that. I need to mod somebody real quick. Come on. I'm like, the rest of it is like, he has 2 years experience. Not sure if he'll be a great player. Come on, Matt. You can't be doing that. That's foul. I'm like, I know I'm an adult. Like, I don't do this for children. But come on, you can't be doing that. I'm like, look, you can see me on a black man talking about hockey. And I don't know if you're shocked, especially if you want to throw that in there. I probably know a lot more than you do. You know what? I am not going to answer that. I'm not even going to put that up because now we're getting into a little bit, and I'm just going to go back into what I was talking about with Tom Wilson and the Karengers, because now y'all going off into. So I'm gonna need y'all to bring it back, dial it back. For those that are listening, what I read earlier, I walked into that one. But now that I'm aware, I'm not doing it again. So okay, it seems like, yeah, where are my normal mods? Because it seems like I'm gonna have to go on. Because now we're getting a little crazy in the chat. So you know what? I'm gonna have to come in and do things myself. I have to do a little regulating in the comments, because we're getting some because I'm not answering that question, so you can go in timeout. I was thanking you guys earlier, but you guys are going over the line. I'm not that type of channel. And let me go Matthew Wilson, because can't be insinuating stuff like that. So guys going to be on timeout for a little bit. So thank you for stopping by though, but your time is short. So anyway, back to the Karengers. The reason why we're here. Let's see. I'm going to be very careful in reading that chat. I am very aware now. So Tony Italia says, these people are weird. Where do they come from? Trolls, bots. This is actually the first time that I've come across this. So this is actually, it's good to actually get this out the way, because now I know my limits. And now that I know my limits, don't try that shit. I'm not saying you, Tony. Thank you for your honest question there. But for the other people that had me, that not had me, but I erroneously walked into a slur, it's just, that happens. And the only time I see that stuff is when I watch other YouTubers when they do their live streams, when they have a ton of like fans, or they have some bots, and they have people that just come in and say some random shit. I know AGS has a lot of them. Any Given Sunday podcast ran by Hard 8. Shout out to him. It's a great podcast, very highly entertaining, but he's been highly entertaining throughout the years. Probably one of the few YouTubers that have been able to sustain the amount of entertainment for as long as he has. I give him the most credit out of everybody, out of anybody that's been on YouTube. I don't care for these bigger YouTubers and stuff like that, but you got somebody who's close to, who's like, I would consider him a grounded figure. I definitely consider him very, very entertaining. And again, shout out to Hard 8 for continuing that trend for damn near over a decade. It's like a decade of dominance. So anyway, all right, so Tony Italia asks, have the Rangers lost to the Capitals 3-0? Right now, the second period just ended, and it is still 3-0. So they're about to enter the third. But they did lose those fights, though. The Rangers just... I'm sorry, Karengers. They're the Karengers now. So, all right, Tony, you probably weren't here earlier, but I pretty much explained why I called them the Karengers. They did release that press statement because of Wilson not being suspended. They called out the head of player safety, and then I think 2 members of the front office of the Karengers were fired today. And then they started off this game trying to fight the Capitals. They lost 4 out of 6 of those fights. So it's actually just crazy. This is why I love the sport of hockey, because the sport of hockey is the only sport left outside of boxing and MMA where they allow you to fight the subtle shit. It's like, look, you may get me in the score, but you're not going to get me with these hands. So it's... I've been watching hockey ever since I was 6 years old. I'm 41 years old. I've never played the sport. I've ice skated maybe once or twice, but one of these days I'm gonna get a hockey stick and I'm gonna get on the ice and I'm gonna do some shit. But my time is ticking. So it's just amazing to see these guys over the years do what they do. I've been a Washington Capitals fan ever since I moved up here to Howard County. So I was there when they made it to the Stanley Cup Finals in '98 with Peter Bonner, Richard Zednik, Olaf Kolzig, Joey Juneau, Adam Oates. That I don't know if I said Peter Bonner, Steve Konowalchuk, host of play. I forgot who was the coach back. I think it was Ron something field or something like that. That was the head coach. And they lost 4-0 to the Detroit Red Wings. So at that moment, the Detroit Red Wings were the pinnacle of the NHL at that point. It was like you had the Red Wings, and I think you were coming off the Penguin, the dreaded Pittsburgh Penguin years. So it was actually a sad day when the Capitals had to disband that team for the Stanley Cup Finals run. So it was very satisfying and I actually have the banner. I had the championship, the 2018 championship parade banner towel over the computer. You guys can't see it, but I was at the parade after we won it in 2018 over the Las Vegas Golden Knights, which that was funny. That was a gentleman's sweep. We gave them the first game and we just went right through them game after game. in which Holtby had the save of the century. Like, how does a person get robbed like that? You knew you knew the series was going to the Capitals the moment he made that save. But fast forward to today, Capitals are up 3-0 on the Rangers. The Rangers are a bunch of bitches. The Karengers, my fault. I keep forgetting. I'm calling them the Karengers because they want to complain to your manager. They fell flat in their face there. They've fallen flat. No pun intended, because the first guy fell flat on his face. But they lose in hockey games. They can't win fights. They lose in hockey games. They lose in fights. They lose in complaints to the public. They lose in personnel in the front office. They lost a chance to play for the playoffs this year. They're like behind by like 10 points behind the Islanders for that final spot, which, the Islanders clinched a while ago. So the Karengers had nothing to play for. They definitely were looking for a fight. They caught all the hands, and if the score holds, they're going to lose again in their final. I guess this will be their final meeting with the Caps. The only person that I like on the Karengers is Zibanejad. He's been a monster. I'm like, every game you hear about him scoring having multiple point games, including a bunch against the Capitals. He's like a one-man army, like a Swiss Army knife out there. But yeah, other than that, stop and kiss my ass. They can go to hell. They can fall off the face of the earth. Go complain to Lucifer's manager. How about that? So, all right. I think I said enough about the New York Karengers that occupy Madison Square Garden, owned by the bitch ass owner James Doolin. A lot of New Yorkers hate his ass anyway, racist. Kicking prominent folks out of his stadium for no reason. A legit way to be a Karen would be to complain about him, but he has no manager. He is the manager. He's like, guess what? I am your manager. That's something that he would say. So, all right. So let me. Here we go. All right, Tony. You were good up until that point. So, yeah, you're gone. I kind of had a clue that was going to happen. I swear they start off innocent, and that's how they lure you in. I warned you. I was aware of it, and once I'm aware of something, I start screening. This is called adapting on the fly. Most people in gaming don't like that shit. They want a game to play shit out. It's like another tangent. But, when people have complaints about video games and stuff like that, they hate the fact that if you have an AI that adapts to your play, they don't want that. They want something that plays straight up no matter what. They want to have things easy, which leads to another debate. Hopefully we will talk about that tomorrow on First and Frame Rates. I think we could have talked about it. We may have brought it up in a past episode on First and Frame Rates, but it is an interesting topic. It is now at the forefront because journalists are saying that they want games to be easy so they can, and I could see where they're coming from, but the optics are horrible, especially when a game's not that hard and you want an easy mode. Yeah, journalists. Yeah, you can't be out here saying that. So hopefully we talk about that tomorrow on First and Frame Rates, where we go live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, myself, VF, and Bills, because I'm going to wrap it up because I'm just going to be like Tom Wilson up in here. I'm going to be knocking out trolls left and right, just like Wilson did the Karengers. Jeez, I'm like a one-man army out here. But that's how the show rolls, and I'm glad you guys showed up. I walked into that one, but I adapted. And I'm going to survive. That's the way it works here at What the Fuck Just Happened. So that's what just happened. And let me get to my closing. So thank you. Even though you guys were being trolls, thank you for showing up. Because eventually an evolution was going to happen. And it took place. at your expense. So I'm glad. Thank you, Tony Italia, for being a troll. Teeny for being a troll. Peter, I wasn't going to answer that question. I don't know if you're a troll or not. I know you asked about Monk's sister, but then you talked about something else, which I will not, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Hopefully it fell in a gully somewhere. Matthew Wilson also, that's the one I walked into. So that's the one that was just like, let me be a little cautious while I read these out, because I'm not trying to have my recordings sent back to me. Like, you can't say that. I was like, I didn't mean to say that. I was just reading the comments. This is gonna be wild. But let me thank the real people that were here tonight. Preliminary Sports, thank you for coming through. Anonymous brother, you didn't say anything afterwards. I'm not sure if you were. I'm like, you avoided being a potential troll, so I do appreciate that. You may have just tuned out for a second. Whatever the case may be, shout out to everybody that came through. Tonight was definitely a lesson learned and an experience, and changes were made, and people went flying out of here real quick. So I'm glad we got that out the way. So I'll be back here. This will be the end of episode 26. I would definitely want to get to this Blood and Guts pay-per-view that's live on TNT as we speak. So make sure you guys tune in over at TNT, Blood and Guts. The main event probably hasn't come up yet, but I would think for that main event they would start it at least at like 9:30. So if you guys want to wait a little longer, you wait till 9:30. Because typically when something starts at 9:30 or 9:45, it means that's going to be the last thing you're going to see unless there's a surprise at the end. But other than that, this was a wild show. And fuck the New York Karengers. I need to talk to y'all guys as manager. Oh yeah, you guys fired them too. That's right. Oh yeah, and the bitch that owns the building, he's a bitch. So fuck the Karengers. I hope you guys lose like 7-0 tonight, because you guys, we're up there. The Capitals, we're up 3-0, and I just saw something that should have clued me in about the first guy. So other than that, you guys take care, be safe. Preliminary, again, when you get your shots done, the term "get your shots up." You and your brother get your shots up. Drink lots of water. If you experience any type of aches and pains, especially in the arms, move that arm around, keep it nice and loose. Showers are good. Don't be faked out by potential body temperature increase. Not the actual temperature, but the feeling of it. It may not be the fever that you think you're feeling. If you have something like a thermometer that gauges your body temperature, use that to make sure that you are not recorded as having a fever. Because like I said, it fooled me for a second. I felt like I had a fever, but my body temperature was normal. So like I said, when you have like radiation produced from the chemical reactions of the vaccine in your immune system, the white blood cells attacking the foreign the objects that are now introduced to your body via vaccine, that's going to happen. So just be mindful and rest when you can. That's pretty much all I got. And hopefully you guys have a good night and take it easy. And fuck the Karengers. Once again, punk ass bitches. Swear. You guys take care. Peace.